One of the first actions President Biden took after taking office was rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, signaling his commitment to battling climate change. Well, today, the president is set to lay out his plan and announce several new executive actions, including establishing a national climate task force. White House National Climate Advisor, the first one, Gina McCarthy, joining us now with more on the administration's climate agenda. Good morning, Gina. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to talk to you again, Al.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good to see you. Well, according to NOAA, nearly 10.3 million acres of land destroyed by wildfires last year, record-setting 30 storms named during the Atlantic hurricane season, globally the second hottest year on record. And today, President Biden plans on taking further executive actions, including elevating climate change to a national security priority. Why is climate change a matter of national security?
Well, Al, I think you're asking me a question that we've been talking about for a number of years, which is that climate change is one of the most significant threats that we have to our health, our well-being. It's one of the most significant threats we have to our safety, both here domestically as well as internationally, which is why the president today is signing 3 executive orders. And you're going to really get excited about this because 2 of them are focused on bringing back science integrity and also bringing back the president's advisors that give him information on science and technology so this country can keep progressing forward. But the third is the big one. The third is all about tackling climate change, which is really one of the biggest threats of our lifetime. And it's all about bringing the power of the whole federal government to bear. It's about tackling our international commitment to Paris Agreement by being strong in terms of what we're doing domestically to actually bring the actions we need to address a crisis that is as broad and deep as the climate challenge. But, Al, I have to tell you, the most exciting thing about this is that we're not asking for sacrifice here. The president fully understands that people are suffering now. So this is all about recovering from the COVID crisis. This is all about building good, clean jobs, jobs where you can get access to good pay in unions. This is all about investing in infrastructure we need to build that future that is going to get us to clean electricity and net zero in 2050. This is
Gina,
about promises he made that he's going to keep.
So the administration, as you mentioned, laying groundwork for new climate and clean energy policies in several different sectors. How is that going to affect infrastructure going forward? And to your point, what does this mean for jobs?
Well, it means millions of new jobs in clean energy. And it means opportunities that we're going to lay out in this executive order that grow new jobs where the communities that have been highly dependent on energies and individual utilities will be, those workers will be able to transition into jobs where they still invest and live in their own communities. We're going to talk about environmental justice communities that have been left behind and build equity as a fundamental consideration in everything we do, because after all, those are the communities that have been marginalized and overburdened by pollution, and they're in the crosshairs of not just climate change, but COVID-19. We owe investments to those communities, and we're going to deliver them.
You talk about investments. They're basically talking about a price tag of around $2 trillion or more. How do we pay for this?
Yeah. Well, this is really an investment in economic development, isn't it? It's really an investment in our future. If you take a look at the costs of climate change, they far outweigh the money that it takes to actually rebuild. And you know, Al, there are millions of people out of work today, millions and millions of families who don't know how they're going to put food on the table tomorrow. We have to rebuild. We have to invest to strengthen our economy. And if we invest wisely by building the future we want to hand to those children, a future that is clean and more equitable, that is safe, a future where we join the international effort with Special Envoy John Kerry, who is a good friend and is going to push like crazy to meet our great commitments in the Paris Agreement. If we work together, we can build that future that doesn't just do one thing, but it does it all. There is no reason why we can't build a future that we're all proud of. And the future needs to start being built today. That's what this investment is all about.
Well, Gina McCarthy, the National Climate Advisor to the President, thank you so much. We really appreciate it and look forward to talking to you again about this.
They're definitely on it, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right.
Among the other things, I was just reading, Al, they're going to create the Civilian Climate Corps initiative, putting an entire generation of Americans to work conserving and restoring public lands and water, akin to what FDR did.
Wow.
Right. This is like a public works project, a new deal, an AmeriCorps for the environment, which is something we need, and to put in place all of these efforts.
It's so good. And our kids are very well aware. They're on it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
us, the older folks that have to get in line.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.